Hello guys, once again, welcome back to the Mistpedia Weekly Conquest Tournament. I'm Blue, your host for this evening. We just played our first game, which was between my PvPness is Huge and Celestials, when we saw my PvPness taking that game in a 2-0 victory. We're now moving on to our first semifinal of the night, which is going to be between Blacklisted and my PvPness is Huge. Our teams are joining up onto the sides right now. For those who did not see the map rotation, we just did the coin toss, and we did have Blacklisted win the coin toss. As such, they chose their first map to be Legacy of the Faux Fire, which will be the map we'll be playing on in just a moment. Following that, they did pick their third map, which was going to be on Temple of the Silent Storm. Now, our other team, my PvPness Huge, did get color choice once again, as well as choice for the second map, at which point they chose the Forest, and once again chose to be on the red side. Let's not waste any more time. Most of these players have now joined the team, so let's go back in-game and get started with the pregame. So moving in, we will really only need to go over Blacklisted's builds, because again, we already saw my PvPness play in the last set, so I believe they're not really going to change anything up for this, but we will obviously check in on that. He's probably swap back to Spirit Ranger, and actually, yeah, he's swapped back to Spirit Ranger here right now, so it's going to be, again, I'll probably run double Spirits with a Signet of Renewal. 20660 will be the trait split, along with that Settler's Amulet and Runes of Balthazar, running it once again with Axe and Offhand Torch, as well as a Sword and Offhand Dagger, but other than that, will be a pretty standard Spirit Ranger build. Moving on from that, once again, now to the blue team, Blacklisted. We're first off going to have Spoon Girl playing Engineer for this team. Is Celestial actually not going to run with Strength Runes, Runes of the Traveler instead, in order to get that 25% speed, which is interesting considering the fact that Engineers can already get that boost if they put the 2 points over here into tools, but instead has opted not to do that, and is going to go 64040 instead and take the Runes of the Traveler. So again, sacrificing Runes of Strength will be a pretty big deal, so we'll have to wait and see how that pans out for them. Sigil of Battle will still come into play, obviously, along with Sigil of Generosity too. Moving on from that, Hans, we'll just call him Hans over here, is going to be the Guardian for this team, running with Staff, as well as a Mason and Offhand Shield. Runes of Mercy, actually, along with a Cleric's Amulet, traits being 00662, running with Altruistic Healing, as well as Force of Will in the Valor and Honor trees, and as well will take Master of Consecrations, which will verify the Sanctuary choice over here as his third utility slot. Steb, once again, will be playing Thief for this team, 26006, probably SD, actually apologies, no, DP on this build. Is going to be running it with Runes of the Pack, as well as a Berserker's Amulet, with the short bow being his offhand weapon. Lots of burst indeed from this, lots of direct burst indeed from this build, so we'll see how that pans out. And last but not least, Urantian will be playing Power Ranger tonight, as it does seem. Longbow, along with a great sword here, Runes of the Nightmare, actually, with a Berserker's Amulet, and oh my goodness. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Stay on teams, people. Again, running it with Runes of Nightmare, Berserker's Amulet, and the trait split being 66200. Alright guys, so once again, we are just waiting for our teams to ready up. And as soon as they are, we shall be getting started. So make sure nobody's running with things that break our rules. I don't believe that's the case. No. We're all fine and dandy. No legendaries, no Surns. It's all well, it's all good. Once again, as a reminder, we do not allow legendaries and the Surns here at our Mistpedia Cups due to heavily requested requests, I guess as you could call them. And, okay, this kind of sucks. Alright, so AK has to remake his character, guys, because he does not have an Asuran, or a non-Asuran of the class he wants to play here. Again, as a reminder, if you do want to participate in these cups, please have non-Asuran characters ready to go of any and all classes you would like to play, so you don't have to have large delays. But we will actually have to take another short break here. I'm not going to go to the AFK screen or anything, but I am going to mute my mic and turn up the music very quickly while we do wait for AK to return. It should take him, hopefully, about 5 minutes to make his character and get through the tutorial zone. So give me just a moment, guys, and we shall be back as soon as AK has returned with his new character. Sorry once again for the delay, but we'll be returning in just a second.
time, hold your breath, you're the only one I see. Breathe me in, taste your lips, you're the only high I need. I'm losing control, your eyes entice me. Just letting go, your hold is stunning. I feel you rushing through my veins. Our bodies getting closer. Your heartbeat drives me insane. I feel you taking over. I feel you rushing through my veins. Our bodies getting closer. Your heartbeat drives me insane. I feel you taking over. I feel you taking over. Take me high, break me down, you're the flashing lights I see. Catch my soul, lose my mind, you're the only trip I need. I'm losing control, your eyes entice me. Just letting go, your hold is stunning. I feel you rushing through my veins. Our bodies getting closer. Your heartbeat drives me insane. I feel you taking over. I feel you rushing through my veins. Our bodies getting closer. Your heartbeat drives me insane. I feel you taking over. Feel you taking over.
Alright guys, we are coming back now. We should be starting the game at any moment. We're just waiting for Google to ready up, and as soon as he does, there we go. Alright guys, sorry once again for the delay in the starting of the game there, but we are all set and ready to go now. So once again, it is my PvPness is huge, starting on the southern, or red side of the map, going up against Blacklisted, the new roster, starting on the north or blue side of the map. Gates opening up in 3 seconds. Let's see who's going to take round 1 of this best of 3 set. So, coming out of the gates, let's open up our map and check out where our players are going to be heading. It looks like we do have 3 going out the main gate, 2 going out the side gate for the red team. Similar story over here on the blue side. We are going to see Urantian rotating around. I'm not sure if he's heading to home. Looks like he's just going to take that other side path over to mid, though. You will see, once again, a pretty similar strategy to what we were actually seeing from the red team in game 2, where they are going to have Rin as well as the Necromancer grouping up for stealth. Google's also going to follow close behind, and he'll probably jive in there as soon as he's ready to go. But blue team not too excited about getting into the mid fight, which is kind of a smart move. Again, you have to know that, again, AK is infamous for his really, really big spike burst, and I think he's going to play it again here today. Again, running it with Sword Dagger here at the moment. Again, going to dive in there, buddy. Take a look at the build. Actually, no, he's running Shadow Arts. Actually, that's very different. Indeed. So, AK running a Shadow Arts build with 2 points into Deadly Arts, 6 points into Shadow Arts, taking use of Shadow's Rejuvenation along the way. Oh, they're going to get mad about that. And then as well, the 6 points into Trickery at the same time here. So he's going to be a very annoying thief indeed. Steb, though, seems to actually be handling him quite well at the moment. Unfortunately, these 3 bleed stacks may knock him out. Nope, was just able to get the heal off there, so he's not going to be out just yet. But still, Steb was handling him quite well and may just be able to take him out again if he does get the initial spot on him when and if he does rejoin the mid fight. But for the time being, he's actually going to fall back in as well with an SA build. Again, assuming this is assuming they know it's an SA build. I don't think they know just yet that it's an SA build, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, there should be some pretty serious tells to that fact, because of the fact that he's running things like blinding powder and other stuff like that that would give him stealth. But he's actually sniping out targets pretty quickly here. He managed to take out Uranti just a couple seconds ago. Granted, Dawson ended up going down, so they obviously got him back up. But he's doing pretty good. He managed to take out a couple targets there. Just a matter of fact, he's got to stomp him out there too, as well as supporting his own team at the same time to make sure they don't lose control of these fights. But let's get back into the actual fight itself. He did actually see Google getting caught up there. He was forced to fall back, but he should be able to get himself away from this path once again. But this is going to harass him just a bit. Diving in once again over here on the Mila Storm, getting a pretty decent amount of damage on him. Maybe it'll take him, but no, the Earthshaker connects over there on. This is their chance to knock him out of play, but once again, they are not going to do that. He's going to fall because Steb gets the sighting on the AK, takes him into the downstate once again. We've also got Hands in the downstate, but Hands gets himself back up with the banner. Google's still in the downstate. No stomp just yet coming in on him. They're going to go in for the res as he was stealth up. I believe they got an SR. No, apologies. Not an SR on himself, but had a pretty decent amount of stealth and was able to get out of the way of most of his enemies for the majority of that fight, but has yet to actually successfully knock out a target here. Blue team's still doing very well in that respect of keeping themselves alive and in play, but again, if AK continues his route for much longer, they may not be able to keep targets alive. Double res coming in on him as well, going in for some serious burst, just managing to get him back up into play here, and once again, Google is going to be forced to fall back. Let's not focus on Google too much, though. We'll switch our target up for just a second, moving over to actually the Necromancer here, too, once again, who is actually running with Epidemic at the moment, but you can tell, again, they do have somewhat of a hard counter, Urantian. That's somewhat of a hard counter against a 2E in the fact that you can see this 2 right now, and I apologize again for looking at something that could be considered rather boring. Is that a 2E? He can't help the mid-fight at all. He can't epi, he can't get on the point, he's got to watch out because Urantian can absolutely destroy him with no issues whatsoever. The longbow is horrible for him to deal with because it just hurts so much. You can see there's going to hit really hard. Steb will come in here, probably knock him out, and 2E's going to get taken down without even being able to do anything here. There is a very large hard counter in this Power Ranger indeed, and you can see coming into play. You saw there a couple times that AK tried to make out quick work of Uranti and take him out of play. With him being up on top of the mausoleum here, it's a very annoying and very hard target to knock out of play here. Now, granted, this team fight is leaning heavily in favor of the blue team. They did manage to get Hands down, but again, the red team, although they are getting very close to kills multiple times in a row, the looming threats of things like the Power Ranger here, and as well the other just general mobility that we are seeing from the blue team around the node makes them able to hold on to things, even if the fight does shift a little bit further towards red team. So right now, blue team is actually doing quite well. You saw the decap happening over there. It did allow them to take about a 20-point lead, as you can see here at the moment, again, as they were holding on to their home point. The only point that was being capped for quite a few seconds, but once again, our blue team is exercising pretty dominant control of middle point, and at the moment, in this current point of the game, that is key. And actually, as you saw there, they actually were able to get the full cap there. Very well done. Excellent point control indeed there. Really doing a nice job, and again, they are knocking out targets left and right here, so Blacklisted really strutting their stuff. Double cap once again. Over here in the graveyard and waterfall, no attempts to back up the waterfall from what we've seen anyway, just as of yet. And again, you're going to see your Nance coming in here now that the team fight's pretty securely over with as we could say here. Now, red team's really pushed to the brink of this fight entirely. He's going to come into the fight with Greatsword and try to wreak some havoc, add some corpse cleave into the mix with that as well. Does have to be a little bit careful. Nice knockback, actually landing that on the AK there as well, once again, keeping him out of play. But again, we're going to have to wait and see. Now, blue team's going to be in a bit of a tough spot, because I think in team fights at the moment, there's not much they're going to be able to do, at least on this map and on this node specifically. There's not much they're going to be able to do, because Urantine has really good positioning. Urantine knows where he needs to stand, and when he's standing up there, there's not much the enemy can do unless, once again, Google can gawk him down and get him into a good spot to take him into the downstate too, is the fact that when we did actually see Urantine going down that 1 or 2 times that ended up happening, he was actually going down in really good spots to where his teammates could res him up. So they got a huge advantage in mid-fight. So now our red team really needs to think of ways to move around that, to go to a side node and try to fight a side node cap game, because that's really, in my opinion at least, that's really the only chance they're going to have to take this map at least. So again, going back into things, you can see the red team is really just scattered at the moment, all over the place here. Hatui going to get knocked out over here off of middle point. You're going to see knockbacks going on a AK again, as he's going to try to fall back over here to the quarry. Just in general, they need to get a full regroup off here, or they're not going to be able to do much here, as they are just all over the map here at the moment. But they are starting to get themselves together now. Obviously, like we were just saying a couple seconds ago, you can see Kizos sort of slowly maneuvering over towards the middle point, obviously not committing to it or anything, because they do have the full team fight over here for the blue team, and that one player kind of hanging out in the back. Storm specifically is hanging out towards the back there as we check him out again. I believe he is running Hambo. Is he running Hambo, or is he running Celestial? Or not Celestial. Oh my god. Viscerate. Yeah, obviously, as you can see, is running Hambo. Zerk or Hambo, actually, so still going to be obviously on the back point, just in general, whereas even if they are running Zerk in a Hambo build, just really, really tanky. So even with that, he's a very tanky fellow and can still do a pretty decent amount of damage too. But here comes the play, guys. We do see a stealth up. The question will be, will they be aggressing mid, or are they going to loop around and try to go another point? We actually are going to see AK popping out of stealth here. Does try to go on Urantine. Nice fear going off onto AK, though, again, pretty much stopping any and all damage there from happening. And oh! Knocks him down behind the pillar. He's going to have to get away back up on top there, and I don't think he can shadow step from where he is. He needs to go all the way back around and get another shadow step up on top there. He will put poison on him and all that, and really, you can see that red team very quickly has learned their lesson. They're going, we need to kill this ranger, because he's completely nulling out our necromancer, not allowing him to do anything whatsoever, and in general, just poking us out one by one. We need to get rid of him, and they did that. So now let's see, again, how well they're actually going to be handled, how well they'll actually be able to handle the team fight. And we're actually going to see AK moving over here to the waterfall, too, to try and go for decap on that, but not entirely sure if that was the smart decision, with kind of in the hindsight of things, because he had to have known Durant was going over there, and just based on the 1v1s that these two have kind of had in the mid-fight so far, AK in general has not been doing too well when he does try to go for those aggressions on Urantine. He knocked him out once or twice, but beyond that, Urantine has pretty often had to pick up on him. But you're almost immediately seeing a difference over here in the mid-fight. Again, mainly due to the fact that the Necromancer can actually help now. He's not just this thing that has to stand in the back and wait for the Ranger to leave. He was actually able to do a pretty decent amount of damage there, and we were seeing evidence of that with the elimination of Hands a couple seconds ago. Milo Storm as well, going a bit too deep here, trying to knock out Hitsui there. That was some good harass coming in from the stab, I believe, but unfortunately, it did end up being the death of Storm as they went and tried to get the kill on the body there, and ended up taking far too much damage and actually lost him. So we may see a flip in the notes here. Obviously, once again, our blue team does have a really huge lead here. Once again, 356 points to 175 points. Red team technically did not have any capture points until just now where they captured that. They will be getting their home point back with a 2 cap, but again, they've got a lot of ground to make up here and a lot of work to do if they want to come back into this game. The blue team as well is within that Lord Rush range now, so if they do want to opt to do that, they can obviously exercise that option. No actual move on the defense yet, and I think this is actually pretty smart what we see AK doing at the moment. He's gone over here, he's gone to knock down the front gate. That's going to kind of, won't necessarily put them, oh god, we need to fall back right now. It won't necessarily put them in that mindset, but it will pique a bit of an interest in the blue team, a bit of a mental interest that, hey, they're knocking down our gate, they may try and do something a little bit later. He's got that gate down, it's basically dead, so it's not that big of a deal that he left there. He's actually, I think he might go in for the finishing blow on it. I mean, literally one tap of it. You can see he doesn't even have a health bar at this point. One little tap of it will knock it out of play, but AK getting greedy here, actually. Gonna try to go for a kill on Stab. Now, again, that'll be good if he can take him out, but he's got to be careful, because if he himself gets knocked out, either way, somebody big is gonna get knocked out of the team fight if both these guys fight to the death here. AK, obviously, a little bit lower, but again, Thief Duels can go either way very quickly. Step diving in there, did make a mistake, was a little bit too short on the dive in, but we see the gate going down there. Step went into the portal, both in SRs at the moment. Nobody gonna engage. I think we may see both parties retreating away from this, but obviously once again, as they're both in stealth, they both can kind of wait things out. Obviously, again, with this being the huge battlefield they were fighting on too, they can kind of poke away at each other. Neither will really ever get each other. Stab is actually still hanging out in the area. AK will get a bit of an advantage in that as well, because of the fact that he can assume AK might have gone into the base to try and snipe at the Lord real quick, but he's going to come onto the point and actually got Urantine in a bit of a bad spot there. Urantine thankfully did have the stealth available from his third longbow ability, so he's going to be able to stealth up and get himself out of there. Not with much health granted, and his heal's still 8 seconds away, so he's going to have to put himself out of commission, but hold on, does AK see him. No, he does not. He should be able to survive this now. And even so, he's going to range for the side. Just a bit out of range. Did see Dawson go down, but again, no harassment coming into play there, so they will be able to get Dawson back up into play. Keysos as well does have the Spirit out in play, so they can pop that off if they want to try and get players back up. Red team may have a chance to come back here. Keep in mind, again, that was almost a 200 or 300 point advantage that our blue team had. It's now disintegrated to a little over 100 points here. Our blue team definitely still in the lead by quite a large margin, but red team, if they can hold on and push onward and get that Lord kill, they may have an opportunity. You got to remember that gate's down. They can rush right at any time and abandon their points, but that obviously will be a big risk. That obviously won't come until later, but still something to consider for a few minutes from now. Just waiting again at the moment. Big mid fight still going on. No huge plays or anything just yet. Step might come in here and try to knock out Dawson. He might actually go for the DK. Ooh, you notice that mark going in there too. He almost got hit, but it would have immediately alerted Dawson of his presence, but was able to just avoid that there. And now we'll get on the node. Decap going off on Guar, and they lost middle too. All points will now cease, and blue team, the advantage immediately shifts back into their favor. Back in the team fight over here. And again, look. This is what I'm talking about. Uranti's in the fight. Uranti, look at him ranging down targets left and right, doing huge numbers on the targets here. And because AK, where is AK here at the moment? He is in the mid fight. I believe he was busy on another point, though, until a couple seconds ago. Might have been going for a decap or something else. Wasn't entirely sure. But because he's not there, because he's not harassing Uranti, because in general he's not pulling Uranti out of the fight, these team fights are almost immediately shifting into Blacklisted's favor. Again, current score 460 to 326. Our red team is almost within range to Lush Lord. Nobody in the base just yet, but if they want to rush it, they're going to have to do it soon. And keep in mind as well, they still need those 20 points if they want to get it. Blue team is about to recapture middle, but it's actually going to be halted as we do see Dawson getting on the point. He may not be on there for long. Yep, the fear as well with that immobilization expiring will get him off the point quick enough in order for blue team to cap. They will get that. And now again, with blue team getting 2 points every second, in addition to that kill bonus, we're going to see AK make a last-ditched attempt to go in over here for the Lord, but I don't believe he's going to be able to kill it quickly enough. Just checking him out here real quick to see if he can do it. But more than likely, guys, GG being called by Storm, we are going to see round 1 going into the favor of Blacklisted. They're not going to be up 1-0 in the set, just one game away now from moving on to the grand finals, but a very close first game indeed. Really could have gone either way there if we saw them holding out at middle, but unfortunately, again, Urantian really making the difference. Now, I do think that a lot of that was because of the map and just in general how hard it probably was to try and knock Urantian out with the positioning he was taking, and that was a huge thing too, is that he had really good positioning. Now, however, as we move on to, what are we going to next? Just need a reminder here. Now that we go into Forest again, most, if not all, the fights are going to be in much more secluded locations. He's not going to be able to have that advantage most of the time, so it's going to be very interesting to see how and if the team fights will shift as we move once again over onto the Forest of Niflhel. We have just loaded in, so let's go back into the game once again, and as soon as our players are ready to go, we shall be getting started with Game 2 of this set. Obviously, we're going to give Blacklisted their points right now. And again, as this is best of 3, this could be our last game in the set if we see a 2-0 from Blacklisted. But personally, I'm going to put my cards on PvPness this round. Because again, I don't think they were doing horrible that game. It was just, again, that map was really bad for them. Just because, again, of Urantian's huge range scope. I believe he's even running Eagle Eye, so has pretty much the longest range in the game. Yep, running Eagle Eye. Literally the longest range in the game for a ranged weapon here. And it does crazy damage. And completely, once again, nulling out the Necromancer in the team fight. So we'll have to wait and see if that advantage will kind of be eliminated as we go into this next map.
The match starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy.
Alright guys, and once again here we go with round 2 of My PvPness is Huge versus Blacklisted. The gates will be opening up in 3 seconds. Once again, we are on the Forest of Niflhel, so let us see who's going to take it. Blacklisted with the 2-0, or PvPness with the comeback tie set at 1-1. Coming out of the gates, we are going to see AK kind of doing a half cross. He's heading up to mid, which means he'll probably be running more interference on the Guardian here than anything. But look at this, a 3-man push up around the back. We're going to see a 2-man push up around the back from the red team, so this will be interesting interesting, to say the least. Rin, as well as Hatui,
Red team wins
they will be
a
popping
capture
out over
point.
here. Gonna stack Might, I believe, instead of actually going into
Just
stealth
like
here.
that,
That may be
blue
a
team
mistake.
takes a capture
Gonna
point.
see, I believe, all three of them are in stealth. Thankfully, we did have that toss elixir S ready to go, so they'll be able to avoid that really, what was almost, oh my goodness, that could have been absolutely fatal had they gotten hit by that initial burst. But we're still going to see Rinky's more actually get hit by a pet immobilized there, and these two are kind of just going to have a silent debate in the back until somebody crosses in. But AK going to get tossed into the mix here now, going in for some furious damage over here. Has actually targeted the Juvenile Jungle Spire at the moment, so I don't know what's going on with that. But I believe he actually has managed to take it out again. That'll put the pet swap cooldown to triple its usual duration up to, I believe, 60 seconds unless he is traded for, which I don't believe he is. Again, trying to knock out Stab as his prime target, eliminating the Thief will A, make him a lot safer, and B, obviously eliminate a very bursty proponent of the blue team damage. But again, gonna get hit up here by Storm. Nice hammer combo coming into play there. Gonna knock AK into the downside. Double res coming in here right now from his teammates. Gonna try to get him back up into play. They will get him back up into play, but once again, Steb 2 will follow suit right after that. Get his heal off. Atsui and Rin Kizumura following right behind him. Storm is there to try and keep him alive, but again, I don't believe they're gonna be able to do that this time. Steb's gonna get knocked out. Storm as well, loaded up with Condies here at the moment. As you can see, he may find himself in the downside very shortly. He is trying to keep himself alive through the use of healing signal. Is doing that actually pretty well at the moment, and I think he might just keep himself up, but actually going into the main bulk of that mid fight there did end up kind of sealing his own doom. Ended up going down, but again, as he was ending up by his own teammates, they got him back up into play, and they're going to keep things nice and solid. Now, we do see more movement coming onto the map at the moment from AK as he is sneaking himself over here to the henge. He'll come in here, get a pretty nice decap off. Might actually get a full cap too as he opens the map. We're actually going to see nodes trading as we do have Steb making his way over to the mine as well. AK won't go for the full cap. He's just going to take the half cap and come over here to mid. As again, mid is still kind of up into the air as to who can take that, so having that extra support there will definitely not hurt his team over here. And other than that, everybody's just fighting on nodes. We do have the same story from the mine. We're going to see Steb just take the decap. So at the moment, no one has nodes. PvPness has a very slight advantage, but on this map, it's not really like Legacy where this would actually matter too much. This map, things can change so quickly that something like that is really inconsequential in my own opinion. Now, Steb has just recently rejoined the fight over here. Has already put a really hefty number of dots and whatnot, or dots, apologies. Has really put a really hefty amount of damage over here on Hatui. Really putting the pressure on him, but good retaliation from Hatui there as well. You get that nice mark up on the Steb, really just immediately forcing him off node, so that'll give Hatui a little bit of time to kind of prepare the next engagement. And he's down here. What's he doing down here? I think he tried to chase there. Big mistake in my opinion. He needs to be around his teammates. The Thief is very dangerous indeed. We're going to see more support coming in from Rinky's more though. Very nice knockout going off on a Steb there. Excellent team play indeed from the red squad. They're going to knock Steb into the downstate. Should be able to take him out, but Hans is going to take the risk actually and coming in for the res. He's got to watch out for that. Storm also on his way over. Hans taking too much damage. He goes down here too. So it's now all left to Storm, and Storm, I don't think he can do much here. Going to try and go in for some damage. Trying to do some damage and get these red team members down, but he's actually they took AK down again. Steb and Hans dying over there as he was really just unable to do anything in that scenario. His banner already being on cooldown. I believe it was about 130 seconds when both of those targets went down. Really could not do much, and that overextension by the Guardian as well as Storm really kind of made the difference there, unfortunately. So again, excellent job in the team play by the red team there, and a very unfortunate mistake by the blue team should allow my PvPness to take the initial middle cap. I believe about 3.5 minutes into the game. That's actually fairly late for being on this map, but still excellently done. Now, do note obviously that the side nodes were decapped, so it was going to be a mad scramble for them. It'll be very interesting indeed to see. You will note actually, red team, I really think made the, oh, this is actually really good here for PvPness at the moment. They made really good choices here. They again, an assumption obviously was required to make the deduction that they weren't actually going to go for their home though pretty heavily, and they were going to actually try to overextend over here to the red team home node. And it was good actually that red team didn't try to go over to the end, because obviously once again they would have obviously gotten that node, but their opponents would have gotten the node there too, and it would have made things a bit more messier as well, because we would have had another mad scramble going over to mid. Now they've got pretty much full control over where everybody is. They know that the engineer that was over here at the henge is going to come over here to mid, and as well, once again, the ranger that is sitting at that moment, Reactoid, should be able to do okay versus the engineer. It really depends on how he places himself. A lot of the ranger matchups are kind of an unknown as to how they'll face, just based on the skill of the ranger itself, but we'll have to wait and see, as that is going to be Kisos once again, as he is as bunkery as he is, should be able to hold on to himself quite alright on that node. Back over here at the mine once again, though, we do have the ranger from the blue team is over here again, really wrecking house, and you can see him just taking his perch position, knocking out targets left and right. We've already seen Hatui again, the necromancer for the red team, just immediately knocked out of play here. Next target being over here, and cluster bombs coming in left and right from Steb, gonna knock out both the targets from the red team, and now our blue team should be able to easily take back this node, and may actually conquest over to middle, because we did see a decap happening there a couple seconds ago. Kizo's actually not doing so hot. Going over to Spoon Girl once again as we check things out, who is running with the Rifle Celestial build, if I remember correctly. Yep, that is the case. Rifle Celestial build actually managed to beat Kizo's down in that 1v1 there, and now blue team comes over for the assist, but it appears everything is already under control. Very well done by Spoon Girl, and now Blacklisted once again will take control of middle and edge to the mine in just a second, definitely putting the red team at a bit of a disadvantage. So moving on from that, once again, let's open up our map actually and kind of check out the movements here as I slow myself down for a breath here. We are going to be seeing, it looks like actually Spoon Girl trying to go for a bit of disruption over here. Red team looks like they wanted to take out the red team's home boss, if I can get a target on it. There we go. It's kind of hiding behind the trees here at the moment, but you can see the health pool sitting over here at the top of the screen. Spoon Girl once again moving back over to the home side of the node, which red team does control at the moment to try and sort of disrupt things. Now you will note red team doing something that, in my opinion at least, is rather smart. They are not going for active damage on the chieftain, because of the fact that, again, Spoon Girl is here. They want to try to avoid that by any means necessary. And again, by getting him in the down state and reduce the damage to Spoon Girl. Granted, the perfect scenario there would have been to take Spoon Girl out before they even killed the chieftain, but it still ended up going into their favor. They took him into the down state, brought her damage down by a huge number, and once again, pretty much guaranteed that they would be able to secure that kill and not Spoon Girl. She even got up and got away, but the important thing was they got the kill, they got the 25 points, and for the time being, they are going to be able to hold on to their lead for a little bit longer by extending that point advantage. But they're not going to be able to hold on to it for too long. They need to get a second point, they need to get some pressure on the nodes here very quickly, or we will be seeing Blacklisted taking the lead and see them start running away with the game now. Kizos did try to make a push over here to the mine as well, but unfortunately he's been outnumbered, so he'll probably end up rolling back over and supporting mid once again too. We may see the Thief try to sneak away, AK that is, sneak away once again, but we're going to have to wait and see. Stab will actually move on to Kizos, so he did catch on to his approach back over here to middle. Is not going to knock him out again, because just in general, Spirit Rangers are rather tanky targets, despite the fact that they're mainly support role based, but again, with them being a rather tanky target, Stab won't pursue the target for much longer. Just go on there, slow him down a bit, and actually, as Kizos has to come up on the wrong side of the fence here, he might get knocked out. We are going to see Tui coming over to support, but there's not much he'll be able to do, and yep, you'll see that instantly moving back there with the Spirit, with not Spirit Walk. Apologies. As I go over here to Hitui's point of view, when he moved over there with Spectral Walk, immediately had to fall back as there was 3, maybe even 4 members of Envy kind of waiting on his corpse there in order to knock out the Spirit Ranger from play. So a bit of a mistake there in his movement from Kizos, opting to take the quick path and unfortunately paid the price for it. And again, really good team fighting here from the blue team. Really good turnarounds, just instantly turning around on a target there. Kizos, I don't even think was expecting that harsh of an approach onto himself there. As again, everyone from the blue team kind of just turned around and said, kill him! And knocked him out really quickly there. So really good surprise gank there coming in from the blue team. So again, you're going to see this, like I've been talking about plenty of times tonight, Urantian on Hitui, just causing a real pain in the butt attitude here. Hatsui even fears him. You can see he's going to try to move over to the other side here to maybe, you know, kind of throw him off. But Hands is actually going down on the point. Red team taking a very slight advantage indeed. And Red team as well. They've got Kizos back in play. They've got that support indeed. Stomp is not coming in from anyone here at the moment from the Red team. So our Red team may actually, Red team is going to bleed him out right there. And it looks like they may flip this node once again. So another very close game over here in the forest indeed, as neither team really has a braggable advantage here at the moment. Now, we are once again going to see Ranty after bailing off of middle there. He's going to make his way over here to the henge and try to make a decap there. Obviously, with the 2 members of the opposing team against him, and with him being on a Power Ranger build, he won't be able to survive long, in all honesty. But the decap, once again, is really what matters here. His team has the lead. They do not need to hold on to a 2 cap. As long as they keep the 1 cap, they can push this game closer to the end with them still having an advantage lead. And as well, considering they control the opposite side of the map here at the moment, they still have control of that boss. Can more than likely prevent any attempts to steal unless they're a thief or something else like that going for it. But Stab actually comes in at the last second to support the fight over here at the henge. Unfortunately, it was not quick enough in order to stop the cap from happening. He will still get Uranti back up into play, but obviously, as we're seeing over there, Kizos did get the full cap on the point and has now flipped up the leads on caps over here in favor of our red team. Nicely done by Rin here too, naking Uranti back into the downstate once again, despite being outnumbered 1v2 with Steb in play here. And now Steb is going to have to bail off of this point and move over to greener pastures as his teammate is going to be knocked out, and he unfortunately is not going to be able to win a 1v2. There's literally no chance he'd be able to do anything versus a grenade and bomb NG as well as a Spirit Ranger. There's going to be far too much AoE cluster and he'll get taken out way too quickly. He's instead opted to go over here to middle. He'll be dueling out Dawson for a bit. Again, Dawson on a bunker guard. He should be able to survive for quite a bit of time. Steb, if he does play his cards right, might be able to take on 1v1, but more than likely there will be support coming in from either side before any of that actually happens, and you can see that already coming in. We've got the bunker guarding from the blue team coming in, obviously to support Steb, and then you've got Ren Kizumura coming in to add some chaos to the mix, and will definitely put Steb a bit more on his toes and force him off the node there, and generally speaking, off of Dawson quite a bit more. Moving on into our other nodes that we do have action on, we did see AK, along with a couple other members of the red team, fighting over here a few minutes ago. For instance, you do have the Necromancer Hatui kind of off node over here. He's in DS at the moment. May actually end up going down as Storm's doing a nice job of putting himself onto him there at the moment. Storm actually taking him down. Good SR, good regroup coming into play here from AK, but unfortunately, again, AoE in the area is going to be a bit too strong. AK will be forced away from that. AK was able to escape and is going to make his way through the beach, probably a little bit back to mid. I'm trying to see, as AK does appear to be a bit greedy with his stuff here today. Does get hit by that pin down, and that may be the death of him here. Yep, we're going to see the knockdown coming into play there from Uranti, and does pop the stealth off there. Again, keep in mind, he is running SA there should at least still be running SA. Yep, still running with those points into Shadow Arts there, so he's going to get all the passive regen while he's in stealth, as again, he does trying to play some mind games versus his opponents. I'm trying to see, they did not leave that point open, so we won't be able to take the 3 cap, but still, PvPness doing very good indeed. The blue team boss spawned, and almost immediately we saw the red team Ranger Kizos going over there, managed to take that away, and again, is going to push the red team forward here. As we continue on with the middle fight, once again, things are still debatably up in the air, but it looks like the red team has a decent hold on it, so they should be able to hold on to that too, and if things continue on their current path, we are probably going to be seeing a red team victory, tying the setup at 1-1, but once again, as this is a less than 100-point lead here still, definitely don't want to count anybody out just yet, but we are definitely approaching the end, and we'll probably only see 1 or 2 more fights before this game's conclusion. Seeing if we have any significant movement to note here. Again, everybody's still kind of floating around mid. No commitment from Blacklisted as of yet to any points. You are going to see their bunker grinding heading over here to the quarry. Will they be able to decap? This is actually going to be a bit close. LOW going to come down. Will block a 2e off there. Unfortunately, that is going to guarantee the decap. Fortunately for the red team, that is. Will guarantee the decap there. And again, blue team will get a bit of an advantage in that regard, but they need a double decap as well as boss kills here. In addition to, in general, just winning fights if they want to come back in this game. Less than 40 points away now from seeing PvPness take game 1, or apologies, game 2 here, and time to set up at 1-1, so they are under some serious pressure. Storm is trying his best to go for the decap. They actually have ran down to a fairly low state of health. You've also got Spoon Girl in this fight, but AK is doing a nice job of kind of keeping Spoon Girl away from the main bulk of things and allowing the 2v1 to happen on node versus Storm to knock him out of play. Now, obviously, once again, we did see the boss on red side of the map taken out by the blue team as they did have control of the mine, but unfortunately, once again, moving off that node has allowed Dazhan to sneak on coming out of his spawn, and once again, will allow a decap to happen. Blue team has sort of traded nodes here, where we did actually see them holding on to but kind of going back to our each team controls their home node here at the moment. Obviously, once again, Urantian will have a pretty decent on-point advantage versus the Guardian, but as he's a Guardian, it'll take him quite some time to actually get the knockout. And once again, guys, we are less than 10 points almost away from seeing our red team win. There's still, hold on, wait. Storm called GG, but hold on now. Oh, the decap did happen there at 496. They're just 1 kill away, however. So it's, oh, it'll definitely be close. Spoon Girl goes down. Red team coming in for the stomp right now. Hands needs to get this res, but it's not going to happen there, guys. Almost, though. Still very close towards the end there, but red team getting that close. Only 1 kill away. They were able to take out Spoon Girl there. And now with that said, guys, PvPness is going to take this game and will be pushed into a game 3 on what is going to be Temple, if I remember correctly. Yeah, we're actually going to go to a game 3 on Temple, guys. So stick around for that. And as soon as our players are set and ready to go, we're going to be back with that game in just a couple seconds.
When the time comes, be ready, don't you hesitate. There's nobody left in the world who could ever shake my faith. No holding me back, no holding this back, don't you see? You can count on me, put it down on me, 'cause now it's all on me.
Hero,
Last chance to nail down your strategy.
Alright guys, we're coming back now to the third game in this set, coming to a close now of my PvPness is huge versus Team Blacklisted. Blacklisted once again will be on the blue side, PvPness will be on the red side. We are on Temple of the Silent Storm now, so let us see how things are gonna go. Coming into the initial middle fight here, keep in mind once again that we are actually seeing Dazon running with Shield of the Avenger at the moment. I don't believe he was running that initially, but has actually swapped to that now. I'm going to move over to the red team, moving over to Hatui specifically here, seeing how these guys are going to open up once again, as we have to wait and see. Coming out of the rough here, going to go over onto Hans, trying to knock him out of play. You will note up top here, obviously, we are going to have definitely some pretty big harassment coming in from the blue team here. Going in on the Hatui once again is try to knock that Necromancer immediately out of play, which once again will be a very smart move indeed if they are able to pull that off. But just waiting to see here. Hatui does end up going into the downstate. Storm will now come in for a stop on him. Dawson tries to go for the res, but no, it does not happen. We even see a Crate trying to come down there. Double attempt at an interrupt there coming in from the red team, but it does not work, unfortunately. And as such, they are going to lose their Necromancer rather early in this fight. Other than that, though, each team has their own home, and we do actually see Uran team kind of poking over here at the red team home, but has not made a full push for that. He probably will be going in just a second. This will move over to that as soon as we do maybe see a decap or something of that nature. But once again, red team on the node not doing so well. But this is even considering too that they don't actually have Uran team fighting full time over here. They've actually moved him over to the far point duty and do have him fighting there. So excellent job so far with our blue team at holding on to the mid node despite losing one of what could be considered probably one of the most crucial parts of their team fight. Moving back over here once again to the red team home node. We still see Kisus on the node, obviously hanging on to things. We also have the Necromancer too. He kind of hanging off node here at the moment. Keep in mind he was the first player to be eliminated, so he was able to get to that node very quickly before any serious harassment came in there from Spoongirl or Urantian, and even Spoongirl I think came in there a little bit late as well. So these two are probably just going to have kind of a Mexican standoff and just look at each other for a couple minutes until somebody comes into play where we get a serious advantage. Now, Tui did kind of press his luck. He's hanging out on top here, so there is going to be a 2v1 for some time there. We'll also see Steb come into play. Steb looks like he might have botched the initial engagement, and Tui once again jumping up top here, trying to go for a juke and wrap back around the front here, or the side here as well, go under the bridge. He is kind of low here, but once again, should be able to get a CC off there, and once again, just try to run away from this. Blue team, again, really harping on chasing him out here, so as such, Tui will be able to get a pretty easy Reaper's Mark off and fear him away. There's still that bleed stick on him, but once again, was able to, generally speaking, juke the majority of the blue team player base, and he'll be safe for the rest of this fight now. Possibly clear combat as well, and put himself in a good spot. But is Steb really going to chase him in here? Does not appear to be the case. Steb does not want him that badly, so he's going to move away once again. Moving over here actually to the blue team home node, we did see an attempt to take this, specifically AK, moved in here to try and take this node away from the blue team, but Storm was waiting and ready to go. Keep in mind, Storm again running Hambo should be able to pretty easily fend off AK here, as again, Hambo's fairly easy to fight one-on-one a node with squishier targets, and with Spoongirl and Uranti coming into play, it's pretty much guaranteed that this will stay under a blue team flag for a bit of time. But AK is going to put a bit of harass before he leaves, but eventually, once again, he's going to be pieced out of this node pretty shortly, unless we see these two guys piece off the node, in which case Spoongirl will now be forced to fight AK, but it appears that it's too late anyways. AK is on his way back to middle already. Current timer is 12 minutes, and as a reminder, our first major buff will be spawning in about 30 seconds here. That'll be the double cap buff, which means that the team that does end up capping him will have their point values doubled. So for a 2 cap, you'll be getting 4 points every 2 seconds instead of 2 points. For a 1 cap, you get 2 points every 2 seconds instead of 1 point, so on and so forth. And that buff will be coming up in about 20 seconds. So back into the middle fight once again. Can see it at the moment. Really, again, just kind of at the starting stage of it. Nobody has a serious advantage, but it looks as if the red team, in terms of health pools at least, does have a pretty decent one. Actually managed to take Urantium down. Desmond coming in for a stop now, but Banner will come in there from Storm, the warrior, and get Urantium back up into play. Urantium might still be suffering a bit too much conning damage, and AK will come in there for the finishing blow. Stillness will be spawning once again, as we did just hit the 11:30 mark, and Urantium actually gets knocked out, so red team may have a chance to actually take this one away just yet, but it really comes down to how heavily they distribute their forces. Now back up over here to the buff, with that coming into play here too. AK will join the fight as well. We do have Steb in play, but Steb unfortunately is a little bit low. Rin, nicely done indeed. Connie application over here, as well as just in general getting Steb down to a low state of health, so they'll take him out of commission, only leaving, who was this over here, Spoongirl in play for control of the buff. Steb will come in there as the main damage source to try, or apologies, AK will come in there as the main damage source to try and knock out Spoongirl, and Spoongirl's actually just going to give up the buff. He's going to dive down below and allow their opponents to take control of that buff, and as you'll see there now, PvPness will get control of the buff. They will tie the caps up, but Steb was never killed, guys. Steb never was actually fully stomped out there, and they were able to res back up, and now with DK will come into play, completely nulling out any and all effects of the buff, and now we'll force somebody from the red team, again, this is assuming they want to do that, we'll force somebody from the red team to fall completely back to recapture that node, although it doesn't seem that anyone from the red team wants to do that. They are on a roll over here at middle at the moment, just knocking Spoongirl out of play, and as well, we just saw Hatui getting an epidemic off on a down target, which means probably a huge number of Connies were spread out there, taking both the taking out the rather tanky engineer out, as well as the bunker guardian for the blue team. So two rather large sort of stalematers in this team fight for the blue teams. They're probably not going to be doing very well on either node space for some time. But again, we do see a thief on thief fight happening back over here at the altar, or this is the temple. Once again, it's going to be Steb versus AK. AK, unfortunately, a bit lower in this scenario, so he's going to be forced out, and your red team will join the fight too. But once again, red team will have a pretty hefty advantage as soon as AK is either A, able to heal himself, and as well, we're going to have these other reinforcements coming in from the red team too. So main play will be shifting to this much smaller point in just a second. But Ren Kizamura will actually be the first person to go down. Storm will not come in for a stomp. That Kizos has his spirit ready to go, but does not end up using that, and will lose their engineer in this fight now. Urantian, however, is starting to get a bit low. They might opt to take him out over here now, as he is once again still rather far away from a heal. He will to swap this heal out from the previous rounds, whereas he was using heal as one earlier, is now using Troll Ungwin instead, which, while it does heal overall for more, it is applied over a much longer duration. For those who aren't aware, it does heal over a 10-second period. I believe 900 ticks every 10 seconds for a total of about 9k healing, with poison, you know, not really being factored into play there, if poison doesn't mitigate any of it whatsoever. But again, we still have Blacklisted and a pretty hefty advantage here, about 150 points here, a little less than that, about more like 120, 130 here coming into play at the moment. So those guys not really so far ahead, but still Blacklisted with the 2-cap is primed to really run away with this, unless we see the red team making some serious moves here very shortly. They just took Temple, even though they did lose their home node again, as Spoon Girl, or probably Ren Kizamura sneaking over there. It's not going to matter too much, as they still are going to hold on to the 2-cap they have in middle as well. They just successfully defended the red team's home node, their far node, and we're able to take that. Now, once again, taking a look at the timer here, it is 8:50, which means in about 15 seconds now, with it being 8:45, we are going to see the bottom buff spawn. Now, this is really, again, this is the test of the proper rotations and distributions of teammates here. As, again, if Blacklisted puts too many people downstairs, if they put too large of an emphasis down there, they will lose this 2-cap. They may even get 3-cap, in all honesty, and they will lose the lead very quickly. The same story applies to PvPness. If they put too many people down there, they'll lose their home node, and actually appears that may have been the case. They're going to lose control of this node, and at the moment, they don't really have sufficient enough pressure to take away any of the other nodes. You've got Dawson coming in over here to the temple, but your anti just took out a 2e, so they don't have enough people there. Middle is completely safe. The red team, the blue team, apologies, yeah, the blue team home node is completely safe, with Spoon Girl retaking that right now, and they've got 2 guys downstairs fighting for that. Granted, it's even numbers, but with blue team taking control of that, they are at a pretty hefty advantage. Now, don't get me wrong, red team did a nice job. They weren't able to get control of the top buff, so again, if they're able to get this bottom buff, that's a pretty huge advantage, but they need to get it within the next 20 to 30 seconds for it to make anything impactful here. Otherwise, the blue team is still going to run away with just a regular 3-cap. We did see a decap coming in there with Kizo sneaking back over into his home node. He was able to get the decap once again, and back over here at the middle too, we're actually going to see another decap, and now we're seeing Blacklisted put too much emphasis on this bottom buff, unfortunately, as they do have 3 out of their 5 players down here, meaning they can only have, at most, players on 2 of these nodes. And we are actually going to see, I believe, an adjustment in that. I'm trying to see here at the moment. Nope, we still have the full 3 players. Nobody's peeled out just yet. They do have a 1+1 advantage, obviously, so they are kind of in line to take this buff eventually. But Red Team 2 can abuse this by kind of, as soon as they lose one of the 2 guys they have down there, by moving them down. But Red Team, this may be their opportunity to come back, but in generally speaking, too, Blacklisted does have that, I believe, 200-point lead, so they can kind of afford to overextend and kind of lose 2 caps for a while, as long as they're still able to hold on to those 1 cap they have and kind of still push themselves a little bit farther away from their opponents, and not really far away from their opponents, as their opponent is slowly gaining on them, just a little bit closer to that 500-point victory marker. So at the bottom, back into the fights themselves, it's Storm and Step going up against, who is this, apologies once again, Guardian, Dark Dawson versus Ren Kizamura. Ren Kizamura going down, excellent pressure coming in there from Step once again, and as well we do see that Dawson is down here as well. Now we did actually see AK coming into play. That is going to put Step in a little bit more of a skittish position. He's going to be not too inclined to dive into fights just as of yet. He'll be a little bit more careful with that. As, again, if Step does get the leap onto him, he's going to find himself in a very bad position. As well with the Guardian down here, it's going to extend this bottom fight for quite a bit of time. But let's not focus too much on the bottom. We actually, oh my goodness, we saw AK getting absolutely donged down there. Good combo once again from Storm and Step. They're going to knock him completely out. Oh, messed up the blink away too there. So he's going to get stomped on the first attempt, leaving once again only the Guardian downstairs. But let's go to the other nodes real quickly. We are going to see the Engineer, who was fighting up here in middle, transferring downstairs, back over here at the blue team home node, the altar. Spoongirl versus 2e is going on. No significant progression on this fight just yet, but it does appear that actually Spoongirl getting this very nice immobilization combo may have just gotten enough Connie damage over here onto 2e in order to take him out. It's going to be a bit close. 2e may be able to keep himself alive. Going over to his point of view right now. His heals 3 seconds away, but 3 stacks of bleeding may just be enough to knock him out. 117 to, oh! Just as he was getting, as you can even hear the heal being channeled there, he will go down and in a really bad spot here too. And we're going to see just now with the cap going off, Spoongirl coming in to knock him out, and with that guy guys, I do believe this game is going to be closing with Blacklisted taking control of the map. No cap being had on the bottom, granted, but once again, Blacklisted was way too far ahead at that point in order for the bottom cap to really even matter for them, unfortunately. So as long as they were able to defend that, they were in a good spot to win with just a 1 cap. So with that said, guys, congrats to Blacklisted. They're going to be moving on to the grand finals, and PvPness is going to get eliminated right here for the tied 3rd/4th place position this week. We're going to be moving on to our next semifinal, guys, in just a few minutes here. So we're going to take about a 10-minute break. Make sure you guys are sticking around, and we'll be coming back in about 10 minutes with our next semifinal, which is going to be between Mime is actually Mime and Outplayed by Belief. Stick around, guys. We'll be back in just a few minutes.